Hi and welcome back to Ajua Biotech, where we make biological sciences clear. Today we're going to talk about a truly revolutionary AI tool that is completely changing how scientists use one of the most powerful biological techniques ever discovered. All of a sudden, one of the most complicated things you can do in a lab is becoming as intuitive as just having a conversation. And it's all thanks to AI. So here's the big idea. We're talking about an AI co-pilot for scientists called CRISPR GPT. And it's not just a chatbot. You have to think of it as a true agent. An AI that doesn't just give you answers, but actually helps you plan, execute, and even analyze an entire scientific experiment from the first idea all the way to the final data. And this is a huge deal. It isn't just about making things a little bit faster. It's about making one of the most powerful tools in all of biology accessible to pretty much anyone. But hold on. To really truly get why this AI co-pilot is such a game changer, we kind of have to rewind the clock a bit and understand the amazing natural system it's all built on. You know, the crazy thing is the story of this super futuristic tech doesn't start in some slick, high-tech computer lab. Nope, it starts decades ago with a scientist just being curious about good old E. coli bacteria. The journey was just this masterpiece of scientific discovery. It kicked off way back in 1987 with a researcher finding these weird, repeating patterns in DNA. It took until 2005 for Francisco Mojica to have the aha moment and guess that it was some kind of bacterial immune system. And then a flurry of breakthroughs from scientists like Emmanuelle Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna turned this natural curiosity into a tool so powerful it won them a Nobel Prize. So how does this whole thing work in nature? Well, picture this. A virus attacks a bacterium. Now, if that bacteria manages to survive the attack, it does something absolutely incredible. It literally steals a little piece of the virus's DNA and stitches it into its own genome, kind of like creating a genetic wanted poster. So the next time that same virus shows up, the bacteria immediately recognizes it and sends out a protein to slice and dice the intruder. It's brilliant. And those wanted posters, that's actually where the name CRISPR comes from. It stands for clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats, which I know is a mouthful, but it's just a scientific way of describing that genetic library of viral mugshots the bacteria keeps on file. But this is where the real genius leap happened. Scientists looked at this and thought, wait a minute, if the bacteria uses a piece of RNA from a virus as a photo to guide its genetic scissors, what if we gave it a new photo, a completely custom-made guide that matches any gene we want? And just like that, boom, we suddenly had a programmable way to edit the code of life itself. Okay, so even with this incredible molecular Swiss Army knife, there's a catch. Actually, doing gene editing is still incredibly hard. It's complicated, it's slow, and honestly, it fails a lot. And that is the exact problem CRISPR GPT was built to solve. Just look at the difference here. Before AI, you practically needed to be a wizard to do this stuff. It required years of expertise. You would hit all these bottlenecks and a high failure rate was just part of the game. Now with an AI co-pilot, the whole thing gets streamlined. It guides you. It automates the tedious parts and makes the entire process accessible even if you're totally new to the field. And when I say it handles things, I mean it handles pretty much everything. It helps you pick the right tools for the job. It plans out the entire experiment. It designs those super important guide RNAs to make sure you hit your target. And it even helps you write the lab protocols and analyze the data when you're done. It's a true start to finish science partner. What's really clever is that it's designed for everybody. If you're a total beginner, you can use meta mode and it will walk you through everything step by step. If you're an expert who knows what they're doing, you can use auto mode to create your own custom automated plans. And for anyone at any time, there's a Q&A mode, which is basically like having a world-class expert right there to answer your questions. Okay, so all this sounds amazing in theory, but the real question is, does it actually work? You know, in a real messy, unpredictable lab. Well, the researchers decided to put it to the ultimate test. So what they did was they took 2 junior researchers, people who were totally new to gene editing, and they gave them a huge challenge. Could they design and actually run some pretty complex experiments from scratch with only the AI to guide them? And these were not easy experiments. The first researcher had to knock out or turn off 4 different cancer-related genes in a human lung cancer cells. The second had to activate or turn on 2 immune-related genes in human melanoma cells. And the result for both of them, total, complete success. They absolutely nailed it. And when I say success, I'm not talking about it just barely working. For example, in that knockout experiment, they hit a staggering 80% efficiency across all 4 genes. That's a fantastic result that even a really experienced lab would be thrilled with. But honestly, the most powerful proof comes from this one line in the scientific paper published in Nature Biomedical Engineering. They both succeeded on the first attempt. For beginners to pull off complex gene editing on their very first try is, well, it's basically unheard of. It's just a stunning validation of this whole AI-guided approach. So what this all shows is something way bigger than just a new piece of software. What we're witnessing here is the fusion of 2 of the most powerful technologies of our time, artificial intelligence and CRISPR. By making this incredible technology easier, safer, and just more accessible, AI co-pilots like CRISPR GPT could completely change the speed of science. Think about it. More scientists in more labs can now tackle problems that used to be way out of their reach, from finding new cancer treatments to engineering crops that can survive a drought. Of course, with this kind of power comes a huge responsibility. And I know what you might be thinking. This is a little scary. The developers thought about that too. They've built in some really critical and ethical guardrails. The system will warn you about the dangers of human gene editing. It will block you from working with dangerous pathogens or making heritable changes to humans. And it even has filters to protect patient privacy. And this all leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question for the future. We've just seen an AI successfully co-pilot a complex, real-world scientific process from beginning to end. It really makes you wonder what other incredibly complex human task is about to get its own AI co-pilot.